Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's Robbie Rhino, and in today's video I have something a little bit different for you in the fact that this video is a single game replay. It features one of my favourite tanks in the whole game. It's the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA, and I'll be telling you about this tank very briefly in just a little bit. I'll also tell you my commander and equipment setup, but the focus of this game is on my thought process towards the mid to latter stages of the battle. I'll be telling you every single thing I'm thinking of, or at least every single thing I can remember I was thinking during this battle to help me take this one down for the team. It's a combination of playing many thousands of battles of World of Tanks console and using the game mechanics, using my knowledge of the different tanks on the enemy team to outplay them, using my knowledge rather than my skill, because if I was using just my skill I probably wouldn't have got through this situation. In my head, skill is more reactions with the controller and the ability to snap onto targets and things like that, whereas you can use knowledge. Even if you want the best player and you know about the different tanks, you can use your knowledge to use your strengths and your weaknesses to find a way to outplay your opponents, and that's just what we tried to do in this battle, and it actually succeeded, spoiler alert, so you have to find out how that succeeded in just a little bit. But what is the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA? Well, it's an Era 2 French premium Western Alliance light tank. It's an absolute beast of a light tank, and like I said, it's one of my favourite tanks in the whole game. You have a primary 75mm 6-shot auto-loading gun that deals 180 damage per shot. You have the multiple weapon system as well, so you hold down that ammo select button and you have a 4-shot ATGM autoloader with a 15-second intra-clip reload. These ATGMs are really nasty, some of the best in Era 2 of the Cold War game mode. They deal 1210 alpha damage with 660mm of penetration, but unfortunately you can only carry 2 full magazines of these ATGMs, so 8 ATGMs in total, and when you run out it can be hard to make that 75mm autoloader work because of the poor penetration and low alpha damage. The penetration on your standard rounds is 212mm, so I run full premium at 231mm. It doesn't go up by much, but every little helps, and you still make a heck of a lot of silver because this thing is very good at dealing a hell of a lot of damage. So what equipment and commander setup do I recommend for this tank? Well, personally, in terms of my equipment, I run the advanced concealment traction system and the advanced powertrain because the mobility isn't that great for a light tank, especially the traverses, and the concealment is one of the big pluses of this tank, so I'm trying to make it better with that advanced concealment. And in terms of my consumables, I run the enhanced smokescreen to help passively with the concealment even more. And with my commander, I run Sixth Sense, Born Leader, Rapid Loading, Steady Aim, Rapid Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun. I run Camouflage Expertise and Muffled Shot, so gun handling skills, especially run and gun on the move when you're trying to circle these heavy tanks. I'm running concealment perks to boost the concealment even more, and rapid loading to help the DPM, Sixth Sense and Born Leader as standard. So if you have that same setup, you'll have a view range of approximately 563 meters, I should say, and a still concealment rating of under 150 meters, which means you're very adept at outspotting your opponents and getting the upper hand on them using the vision mechanics. So that's one big plus we're going to have to use at the end of the game. One big plus would be these ATGMs, but as you've seen during the start of this battle, I have unfortunately missed quite a few ATGMs. It hasn't been the best start, and I wanted to include this replay as well because it shows even though you have a terrible start to a game, you can really rectify your game towards the mid and latter stages of the battle. If you play smart, don't get frustrated, keep calm, and you carry on. So what has happened in this battle already? Well, we haven't had much luck towards the north with our vision. We've only had 264 assistance. We have picked up 2.5k damage, but now is the time to really use our hit points because we still have all of them intact. So this Sheridan I knew was here from earlier. I spotted him on the mini map firing at my friendly tanks. I was willing to take a shell or two here to take him out of the game because he's one of the most dangerous tanks on the enemy team with his ATGMs and his massive gun launcher. So he take him out. We are unfortunately now on 1000 hit points, but it's now even in terms of the team and we can move on. We've only got one ATGM left, so we're going to have to make sure we penetrate this to give ourselves the best chance of taking this game down. The reason I advanced to the enemy base and the south of the map is because quite a few tanks were taken out of the game. I saw a window of opportunity to get some crossfire on the tanks in the middle, and it allowed me to penetrate my shells with the 75mm autoloader much easier on the FE4-11, and then I can flank around and defend my base because it is being captured. There's 42 seconds left as I'm talking right now. Our medium tank has gone forward. It's 2 versus 4 now. Hopefully he manages to take out one of those tanks that he has spotted down there in the northwest corner, and we're going to go straight for the base. We are the light tank. We've got the best mobility, concealment, and most likely the best view range. We're going to rush forward and see if we can reset this capture circle with our last ATGM, and then it's down to using our 75mm gun. That M60 does fantastic work taking 2 enemy tanks out. So now we're on level footing. There's 6 seconds left. We aim our ATGM through the driveway of that Centurion 9. I aimed for the driveway because I knew I could penetrate, but also because even if I didn't penetrate and it was would be absorbed, it would damage the module of the tracks and it would reset the cap. So he's popped his smoke screen, and we're going to move forwards now with our hit points, keeping vision up on this Centurion, using the smoke to our advantage here to get a running head start on this Centurion 9, and we're going to try and turn him for our friendly tank. So our friendly M60 has a good shot into his side. I think he put one in, but we managed to get a few in, and he takes that Centurion 9 out of the game, and now it's 2 versus 1, so we have the upper hand now. I still have my 1069 hit points, and I'm going to go forward, use my mobility to try and spot the enemy tank, or the last remaining tank, which is an Object 120 and Era 2 tank destroyer with a massive gun that can deal 850 damage per shot, or over 1000 damage if he's using HE. We managed to spot him there with the True Vision system and the game mechanics. I'm asking my friend to follow me, but unfortunately I made a misplay. I thought he was a little bit higher than he was, and now I've taken a shot. I've got some damage into the Object 120, but I made a misplay there, and I would usually get quite frustrated. I was quite frustrated, but for some reason I was really competitive during this session. I knew that I could take this one down if I just played sensibly. I made a mistake there. Unfortunately, it probably got the M60 kill, but now I'm going to have to make up for it using my knowledge of the game. So I know where the Object 120 was last spotted. My teammates are going to ping the map there, telling me where he was last spotted. I acknowledge that I know that, but I'm just trying to get some distance on this Object 120. I'm trying to make it hard for him to guess where I'm going to be coming from, and if I get far enough away, I can reset my stealth and I can use the vision mechanics to my advantage. And this is why I keep banging on about concealment and how important it is, not only in the World War II game mode but also in the Cold War game mode, because if I was sat in a bush or a dense lot of bushes and trees, he wouldn't be able to spot me unless I fired, and that's why it's so important, because I can get the jump. So I've got a chance here to get some shells into this 120. I'm using the free camera there to look at where his gun is pointing. I noticed that he was looking straight down for a while, so I took that opportunity to get 2 shells in. I'm going to go for a reload, and whilst I'm reloading, I'm going to relocate. I'm going to fake like I'm going right, and I'm going to come back around, so hopefully he's thinking I'm going back where I just circled around from. And now it's all about breaking that view range that the Object 120 has on me, trying to get as many shells in as possible while his turret is turned a different way, and just rinsing and repeating this tactic. I'm trying to make sure that I have ridgelines and exits whenever I try and get into a different position. Now I've spotted the object 120 crossing into a more northern location on this map. I'm going to poke forwards here because there's a dip to my left. I can dip down if I really needed to. I'm just going to have a quick look and see where this object 120 has gone, and then I'm going to have to rethink about where I am going to get some shots in from. But he started capping, which is a misplay on his part. He's forcing my hand, which is one good thing, but with my concealment and my view range, I'm going to be able to outspot him every single time before he spots me. So we use the bushes there to advance into a position. We reverse into the bush so we can use the full extent of our mobility to get away. We get another couple of cheeky shots in, and whilst we're reloading, we're going to relocate and come from a different location. And you'll see me using every kind of bush that I can think of to get the upper hand here. I'm going to reverse into the foliage, spot the enemy tank, and I'm going to get at least 2 or 3 shells in every single time. And then I'm going to reset the view range he has on me, and then I'm going to reload and go to a different location. I've been popping up in different locations every single time, so I've duplicate going to a different location, and then I'm going to double back and use the same bush that I was just spotted from, and hopefully the object 120 is expecting me to come from a different location. We're trying to spot him with the true vision system. I thought that was a little bit risky, so we're going to push further down. We can see him there with the true vision system facing the top of the hill, so we're going to wait until he's slightly turned and see if we can get a cheeky shot in with our 75mm gun. And then I'm going to go for a reload again, because you never know when you're going to need all 6 shells. If I bounce 5 or 6, or bounce 5 I should say, and I needed the last one, I wouldn't be able to kill him, and I would have rued it if I hadn't have reload, because I would have been stuck without any shells left to carry the game. So now we're going to take a chance in this open area. I'm trying to go as high on the ridge as possible to use some of the foliage as cover, and we're going to come from a completely different angle. I'm constantly looking to see where he is with the true vision system. I'm going to line up with the bushes here. When they're opaque, I have the full concealment rating of the bush in play, keeping me hidden. Unfortunately, for some reason, the last couple of shells didn't work, but we have the smoke of this dead wreck and we have the tree in front of us, so we're going to stay there for a while in case he's scanning the horizon. Then we're going to push further round towards the west, towards this hard cover. We're always reversing out so we can quickly go forwards and get out of the way of his shot in case he tries to snap one in. And we're going to try and spot him with the true vision system, and this is why this is so dangerous in the Cold War game mode, because we can spot him, but he can also spot us. So we're going to go to a more densely populated area with bushes and see if we can not get a little bit closer and get some vision on the object 120, because it doesn't have as good concealment as the Tyran does in the World War II game mode for some reason. Yeah, you can see now that it's all about using my concealment, using the view range. We managed to get another shot into him. Now he's a one shot for us and we are a one shot for him. I'm going to reload while I advance. He's dropped back to a ridgeline. I'm not going to be able to spot him anymore, and we're going to try and come with speed. We're going to auto-lock onto him. He's got no armor at all, and we should be able to take him out with a shell. He's running away. Now's our chance to get the final shell into him. And we managed to do that. Run and gun helping us there as a commander skill. He had his turret turned, his gun's facing the wrong way, so we were able to get at least 2 or 3 shots before he turned into him. We only needed the one, and we took this one down. So that was a good game, taking me up to 94.29%. You'll have to see whether I managed to get my 3 mark in this tank, but that was a close one at the end there. I tried to use all of my experience and patience there to take that one down. It wasn't perfectly played, I completely admit that, but it just goes to show no matter if you are the best player or if you're an average player, you still can have a massive impact in your games, no matter how badly they start. And I hope you've picked up some tricks. You get into those bushes, you make sure they're transparent, you spot your enemy tanks out, and you pull back till they're opaque, you fire through them. You're going to keep your concealment, You've got to think about what your strengths of your tanks are. In this case, it was my concealment and the fact that I had an auto loader and pretty decent mobility that I boosted up with the mobility equipment. But you've got to think about what your tank is capable of, what's the main strength of it, and how can you exemplify that, and how can you get the weakness of the enemy tank and use that to your advantage. In this case, it's a massive profile tank, the Object 120. I would be able to see it with the True Vision system quite easily and outspot it with the AMX 13, so that's what I did. But that's it for today's video. I hope that you found that entertaining and or informative, and thank you all so much for your support. Until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield, and bye for now.